Yeah. He's got a lot of body to start with. Yeah, I mean, he's the right size. Yeah.
Are you going to?
Oh, he's got a little gray streak going on in there. Mayor, you don't see it.
Maybe these roads.
All right, listen, help me out, Sean. I gotta keep it to myself.
I just got that information today.
I know. So hot in here.
Well, after that, I'm sure they all need a bathroom break.
Missing? What?
Yeah. And something like that.
What is it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There's one that's in a box, but I know the one online, somebody asked me something about the tree planting. Like, I thought they were talking about the previous one. I'm like, we just did tree plantings. And then they said that, oh, there was, an extra line in it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I agree with you. That's not what I was trying to say. I didn't notice, lady, if you're finishing or something.
As a freshman when he graduated, he joined the Navy in '88. He was killed in the USS Holbox in Yemen in 2000.
Sorry for the delay. We have to print new agendas. There was an item added since Friday. It was posted correctly, although we don't have the correct version in front of us. So Don, it is on the website within 24 hours.
You want to just tell everybody what it is? You want to tell everybody what it is, the addition?
Is anybody interested what it is? Oh, all right. So the EDC came and they very graciously want to plant a 10-foot Norwood Christmas tree in order for us to do tree lightings again. So they're asking for council's permission.
You need 15 days to go to Hawaii.
I do.
You can't just go for 1 week.
I am
It's such
so
a long trip.
jealous, but good
Have
for
you been there before? Are you going to Honolulu? Oahu?
And then she's going to take us around. She's taking
A few.
it's like an itinerary for us.
That's so nice.
So my
I'm here, man. I got so many of them, and all except for like one in Texas and one like I don't know, Colorado. So, man, all my rest of them is here. It's fun to go visit.
Good, thank God. Yes.
I'm going to a different house.
They flew me home once, and they're like, you can't do this anymore, take the car.
Right, all right, 'cause, yeah, that was last Friday.
Yep, I agree.
Also about energy and stuff in general.
No, well, no, I'm just staff. Just nasty.
Oh, really?
No, my director told me.
I'll work.
Yeah, I know.
Meeting is coming to order. It's 7:10, April 21st. Welcome to the Borough Council meeting. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Virginia, roll call.
Present.
Here. Present.
Here. Here. Here.
Here. Here.
Here. I motion to add to the agenda a request that the borough manager.
This isn't the time.
Not done, I'm sorry.
Scott Holbert on behalf of Flagrant Associates.
Here.
I motion to add to the agenda a request that the borough manager post the director of the library position no later than our next council meeting and begin the hiring process immediately thereafter. I sent this request on 4/13, following the required 8 days. I received no response. I followed up with another request on 4/18 and received no response. Mr. Dillon asked for 3 months. These months have elapsed, and in the meantime, we have learned more information. We know that we have been given a deadline of September 1st to have a plan in place for hiring a library director or lose state funding. We know that the borough signed a contract with the county to follow the requirements for having aid, and we were granted aid for this year in 2026 by the county in good faith, but we still have not put a plan in place to hire a director.
I second it.
If they vote, it's procedural.
All right, could you read the motion again?
I motion to add to the agenda a request that the borough manager post the director of the library position no later than our next council meeting and begin the hiring process immediately thereafter.
Any discussion from council? Or well, I guess we're adding it first.
It's a procedural motion.
Okay. Virginia, roll call.
Yes.
No.
No.
I can't answer this because I have questions that I can't ask yet. I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Yes. I would love to vote yes, but I have to vote no because I don't think we're allowed to do this. I think it's illegal it's a violation of the Sunshine Act. Scott, aren't the only thing we're allowed to like add right now would be something of dire financial consequence?
No, they changed that law, and that's what the vote is for. They didn't change the law, excuse me. The law was one way. The law was written. It was interpreted one by the Commonwealth Court, but late last year, let me stop you there. Late last year, they went back to the way it was written. But yes, there was a time period for about a year and a half, 2 years when that was correct. You can only add sort of emergency items, but now they've made it a free-for-all based on how the General Assembly wrote the statute.
Free-for-all. Couldn't have said it better. You know what? I'll vote for yes for that then. If I'm not going to get in trouble.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-2. Okay, that will be agenda item 10K. Okay, we have some community announcements. On March 26th, the borough was notified of the Bucks County's intent to award a community development block grant, CBGB funds, for the Morrisville curb ramp project, and we're anticipating $190,000 for the upgrades to various curbs. And I'm sure Jacob will speak on this during his engineer report. Is anyone from the fire department here? No? Okay, then we'll take that off. Republic Services, Dominic Fulginiti.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Dominic, step up. You have the floor.
Yeah, so
Talk into the mic.
thanks for having me. My name is Dominic Fulginiti. I represent Republic Services. And I spoke with Chris Moore earlier this afternoon. He's the operations manager for Republic Services. And he basically is very happy with how the cart rollout has.
Hey, excuse me.
I didn't think I was disturbing the whole proceeding. You are. So did you hear what we were talking about, or was it just...
I'm sorry.
All right, hang on. If I can hear you, it's too loud. Take it outside. That's all. Fair enough. I'll try to keep it down. Appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah, so the cart rollout has gone, he put it at 95, 96%. It's typically about 6 to 8 weeks before everyone gets comfortable with them. And what we're doing is working with the borough office. Nick is coming in every route day, which is obviously Monday and Thursday. And we're just working through any off requests that we're getting in terms of moving containers around and anyone that has any types of issues that need to be addressed. So I'm here to answer any questions that anyone has regarding the carts and anything we can do to improve the service.
Some of the questions that I know, the 96-gallon carts, are they ADA appropriate?
They are. I have all the specs. I can send them over to you. I reached out to the manufacturer, and they are. There is a different barrier, though, for public carts, right? So like if a cart was in a park, it has a little bit different types of requirements. But as far as for home use, they are ADA compliant.
And could you just explain the whole process of why the 96 gallons were used?
So the 96-gallon is the most appropriate container for the amount of waste that comes out of a typical residential home in Morrisville. We looked at the tonnage that the borough produces historically, and that was and that's really why you have the twice-a-week service as well, right? So there's just a lot of trash that gets disposed of in this town for whatever reason, and so that's why we went with the 95-gallon. I would say that they look intimidating, but they're very easy to move, and once people get used to them, which again takes about 4 to 6 weeks typically, some people adapt right away. But that's why we did that.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is our brown yard waste bags still acceptable to put out with our trash?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
So the carts were just sort of an addition to kind of, and it'll be a benefit to the borough in 5 years. Like we've done this with other towns. You see disposal costs go way down. So that should translate into a better contract next go around. You see recycling go up and the quality improves. But yeah, there was no changes to the actual service other than you get the carts.
And then will you be accommodating people who are disabled with smaller carts if they cannot manage, for instance, a citizen who has bilateral hip and knee replacements and a shoulder replacement and had fallen and broken their wrist? They walk with a cane. They cannot use a 96-gallon toter. Will you accommodate them with a smaller can?
Yeah, so we've been working, actually, Chris gave me an example of this today. They've identified a customer that had an issue like this, and they're, working to do it. We're obviously, that's the exception, but certainly that's the benefit of having Republic do this only because we already were servicing the town. So the drivers were very familiar with how this was all going to roll out. I think it would have been a tougher transition if it was a newer company, or even for us if we didn't know about Morrisville.
I had a resident who called me regarding those 96-pound, those large trash cans. She can't drag him up her steps. And when she talked to somebody at your office, she said that you guys don't have the 32 gallons.
Yeah, so we don't typically stock those because they're so small. But what we can do is, again, we have the supervisor coming in. So we're gathering lists from John. And then as those requests come in, we'll just identify each issue. I mean, there's going to be certain situations. It's very tight here. We get that. Where
she has to drag it up her steps. And it's up the hill. And for me, even just pulling them, they're heavy.
Sure. What was she doing before? Just putting bags out?
Pardon me?
She was just putting bags out, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again.
She actually had her own trash can, and then when she was told that her trash can won't be used anymore, she literally threw it out. And now she can't use these. I mean, she has neighbors helping her with them, but there's only so much a neighbor will, do, and they're available.
So again, we'll just identify these residents as they come up, and it'll
should they call you and give them
that process is going to go through the borough office, where like if it's 118 Main Street has this issue, then what's going to happen is Nicholas will reach out to them, go look at the site, see what's what, and find out what the best solution would be.
So the residents should be calling the borough, and the borough will let you know?
Yeah, so we spoke with John, and so basically he's interfacing with Nick, and I think that's the best way to do it, because we won't get a ton of these, but we will get some. So we just have to knock them out one by one. We just wrapped through about 50 to 60 different cart movements, using that sort of method.
So in the meantime, can they use different trash bags and you will pick them up?
So we're collecting the trash, right? So we know that there's a period of time where people can't adapt. If there's 3,000 homes here and there's 40 homes that for whatever reason have some unusual issue, we'll continue to pick the trash up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that I'm one of those people that has a very long hill to, steps, and the trash can almost took me out as I was trying to get it down to the street. I can't get it down there. It's impossible, and back up. A lot of people don't even have room in their yards to put these. If they do, it's not that challenging. The smaller cans are much easier. You can kind of drag them down. You can drag them back up, but it's very difficult. So we should all call the Borough Hall here. Do we know who we want to call at Borough Hall and how we can request a smaller can? In the meantime, we can use our old trash cans or some other smaller device, correct?
So we're going to deal with each exception as they come up, but the borough purchased containers for each resident, and there's automated trucks out there. So if there's unusual issues, we'll deal with them. But we bought those carts to use. So if you have a specific issue, I'll look at it. But I'm not going to make a blanket statement that people should just use all the same carts.
I have a question. Are you finished your question? I think the geography of my ward is part of the problem because we have a number of residents in my ward that their homes are up on hills, rather high hills, and they don't have driveways. All they have are steps. So, and a number of senior citizens. So it is really impossible for many of them. I've heard from several of my constituents in the 3rd Ward to get their trash cans down the steps or down the slopes. And they have been told different things. In the beginning, they were told they could get a smaller trash can. Then another constituent was told that she could just put her trash out in trash bags, and they took her trash cans away. Then I have another constituent who has her trash cans still in the street because she can't get them back up because she hurt herself the first time. They have not yet picked them up, and it's been 2 weeks. And she's been putting hers out in bags. So I'm hearing from these people multiple times.
So I think the way to do it is for you to get that address, give it to John, right? John will give it to Nick, and then we'll go take a look and see what it was.
So are we then emailing John with these complaints? I don't know who Nick is.
Nick's our supervisor that's meeting John each route day.
The residents should contact the borough office?
Yeah, and say, this is XYZ address. This is the issue I'm having. And then we'll go out and look at it and try to solve it.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
That'll take you out of it, right? So you don't have to.
I just want to make sure I'm telling them the right thing. So I tell them to call the borough office.
Yeah, and we'll take a name.
And they will direct them to their complaint to the right place.
And then Nick will go out, look at it, and we'll try to solve that problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Do you generally have the same drivers doing the same routes, or does it switch up a lot?
Typically, yeah. So the drivers in here, there was a situation just today, actually. The driver was hurt. Actually yesterday, and they put somebody else in there.
So
it does happen.
Like I've never driven a garbage truck, but maybe for the next couple weeks or couple months, if you have the same guy on the same route, if he's pulling up to a house on a Monday and there's one of those little white kitchen garbage bags in front of the house, and you can kind of look at the house and say, that might be an elderly person. And then he goes by there Thursday and there's another white little kitchen garbage bag outside, and it's not in a 96-gallon container. Maybe that driver put a note down, say there's probably somebody here who, they have a minimum amount of trash, and maybe we can get this person a smaller can. And then if you look at the house and they live in the middle of a block on a hill and there's no ramp, it's just steps that come down, because if you go up Pennsylvania Avenue, so I have an alley behind my house. Okay. I'm 6 foot, 57 years old. I think I'm in pretty good shape. When mine got dropped off, they got dropped off in front where my steps are. And it was, I'm not going to say it was a chore, but I roll mine out of my back door down the alley, down onto the street. There's no way I'm taking that garbage can down my steps. I'm catty-corner to the library if you want to go and look over there on Pennsylvania Avenue at some of those houses. Dude, there's no way if you got 100 pounds of garbage in a can that you're getting it down that street. It's not happening. I mean, I get the research and the science that went into these cans. I just retired from UPS. So
there were multiple bid options.
Say again?
There were multiple bid options. the bid. There was a bid put together, and there were multiple options. There was a manual option, which had no cans, right? Which sounds like you liked. And there was one with carts. And so the one with carts is the one that you guys selected.
I want to show you a picture.
Hey, listen, I understand. What I'm saying is it's the one that you selected. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're not accurate, but we're doing the best we can with what we're dealing with.
So I was in the neighborhood last week.
Just for the residents to know, if we had gone with the manual, it was a much higher.
It's a much more expensive
It
option.
was much more higher. So
And it's
our
not-
trash.
It's not a service that is duplicatable down the road. It was the right decision to make. It just has to, we have to work through the bugs, okay?
Right. Now, if you go into a neighborhood, like you look at the newer neighborhoods, like out in Montgomery County, the townhome developments and whatnot, you know, they're row homes. They're not row homes, but they're all condos.
They're easier to, an application for that.
Right out, you know? I mean, there's not a lot of new homes that are being built that are, you know, I mean, our houses here are 100 years old. They weren't, the last thing they were thinking about was.
Yeah, what I would say is this, it is a challenge. I hear everything that is being said. I'm very aware of the town, the drivers are, and we'll do our best to work through each one. But what I would say is that the type of service that you were getting, the manual, twice a week loose, is something that's, I don't want to say it's going away, but it's getting harder and harder to find people to do that type of service. It's just, it's very labor intensive. It's super dangerous. It's just for a variety of reasons. So the best approach was not to reduce it to once a week and carts, which I know was an option, right? And you guys did the right thing. You kept it twice a week.
There's no way once a week.
Exactly. And so imagine having that situation where you went to carts and it was once a week.
Right. But here's a picture of a can. This is in Clinton Township, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an automatic can for a machine. And so I had a tape measure and measured it. It's 37 inches tall. It's 23 inches wide. And it's 21 inches deep, including the handle. I couldn't fit in this thing. If I wanted to like hide in it, I wouldn't be able to hide in it. But something like that. And they are, I mean, it's a can, it's Grand Sanitation Services, I guess they're
up
there
in New Jersey, yeah.
Hunter County. But like if wherever they got these cans from, if we could get some for some of our people. Because I know one woman that lives down here. Well, there's the garbage can's taller than her.
So again, this is what I'm saying. There's like 3,000 residents. There's probably going to be a percentage that are just.
And I'm not trying to be argument. Listen, I love the garbage getting picked up. I'm not.
Let them talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a real thing, and that the difference between the 95s and the 65s is pretty slight. So there's about 4 or 5 different cart manufacturers. There are differences, right? There's Otto, Schaefer, Toter, Rarig. So we use SSI Schaefer. We think it's the most durable, longest lasting cart. But certainly, again, there's going to be certain situations where there's people that can't do certain things, and we're going to work through it. We have a long time here, right? It's a 5-year contract. So, the drivers are, to your point, here every day. And so they know the stops that are difficult, and, we're going to work to basically get through that. And so what I'm trying to say is that if there's a certain situation that needs a different, way to collect for whatever reason, we're going to pick up the trash.
And on a positive note, Bridge Street should be a lot cleaner now because with all the garbage going in the cans, because there's a gentleman that owns a property down there, and for the last 50 years, he's had garbage up against the fence of his property because it just blows down Bridge Street. But with all the trash in the cans, this ought to make the town cleaner. So
yeah,
it's definitely a
thank you.
Positive.
Anybody else on council?
I would just like to say we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Taking the time and coming and seeing us and letting our residents know that you are working on it. Everybody hates change.
Sure.
It's going to take you time. You can't just snap your fingers and fix everything in one day, and that you are working on it, and for people to just give you a chance, put their trash out, and you're going to fix the problems that you can fix.
We are.
And we appreciate
And I
that.
appreciate you guys giving us the venue to do this. And again, I can't emphasize enough that the managers at the port, that's what we call the division underneath the Betsy Ross Bridge, are committed to, getting us right.
Can you explain also to the residents how they should put their trash out? Like they should be, the two cans need to be 3 feet away from each other, et
Yeah,
cetera.
if you get it out to the street, and you can, try to keep it away from cars as best you can, just things like that, right? So just any obstructions, and then obviously, if you put them about a foot apart from one another, that's fine as well. So.
Anybody from the public have any questions for Republic? Go ahead, Don.
Initially, when I have a problem, I have steps going up. But also I live on Crown Street, and there's other streets like Crown Street where we have on-street parking. No driveway, we got on-street parking. That's what happens if there's cars in front of my house in the morning. And they said they wouldn't pick it up. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I can't make those cars move. They're legally parked in front of my house.
Yeah. Have they been collecting it?
Could you talk into the mic?
They have been collecting
They
it?
have been looking. I can't use the cans that you gave me. I would like you to come pick them up and take them away. I can't. I'm 74. I can't get up and down those steps. I tried with the recycling the other day just to see how, and my sidewalk is narrower than one of those cans. But I can't even push it down the sidewalk to get to the steps, to get down to the street where the cars may be parked. And Crown Street is just one of many streets in the borough where on-street parking is the norm.
Prevalent.
How are you going to handle on-street parking?
Yeah, so, I mean, would it be okay?
Could you talk into the
Would it be
mic?
okay to get your name and address and take a look at it?
I've actually talked to the people in your office. I think that they stopped talking when they knew you were coming.
Well, yeah, like I said, we'll have the supervisor come out, check it out, and see what's what.
You can check out my house specifically, but I'm more in like big picture. You want to see an on-street parking, go to Stockham Street. But
I don't think there's any statement that we won't pick up where there's parked cars. I don't know. I can't say what people said or didn't say. It's hard for me to manage that type of.
Customer service at Republic. You initially get a bunch of people in a small room, you can hardly hear them talk. And those are that's the person who told me if the trash cans were blocked by on-street parking, they would not pick it up.
Okay. So we'll talk offline. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Dominic, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic.
And just for the public, you can either call the borough and give them your name and address and your issue, or you can go into Citizen Reporter and put in your information there, and Public Works will see it. Okay, next presentation is Hal Wilcox, Murals.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Hal Wilcox, and I've been a proud Morrisville resident for 67 years. I'm here tonight to share what I believe is a wonderful opportunity for our town. I'm representing the Morrisville Murals Project. Now, I know a similar idea was presented in the past by a group that is no longer recognized, but I believe in what this project can become for Morrisville, and that's why I'm here, to help move it forward and to present it to council and to the public. Imagine Morrisville being compared to Philadelphia's murals or Hamilton's sculptures. Let that image set in. With our murals, we have a chance to share the rich history of Morrisville with everyone who visits our town. We plan to apply for grants, and we plan to fundraise for the next mural. We are not asking the borough for money. unless you have some sitting around somewhere. This mural is proposed for the Big Field Clubhouse at Williamson Park. I believe you all have pictures of this planned murals in your packets, and there are pictures here on the table for everyone to see. These images show the design we've developed, a tribute to some of Morrisville's greatest athletes and moments. On the first base side, Danny Napoleon, raised in Morrisville, multi-sports star at Morrisville, and made it to the majors with the Mets. Rumored to be the first player to hit a ball from the big field onto the Little League field, and the umpires didn't know what to do, so they gave him a ground rule double. On the third base side, Dick Hart, member of the 55 Little League championship team, a multi-sports star at Morrisville High School, and one of the rare athletes to play 2 professional sports, baseball with the Milwaukee Braves and football with the Philadelphia Eagles as a walk-on. And on the backside, Neil Nolan of the Morrisville Reds. There was a professional baseball team one time here in Morrisville on the original Island Field. And Richie Kaminsky scoring on his walk-off home run in the 55 championship game. It was the first walk-off in Little League history. This mural is more than artwork. It transforms Williamson Park into a place of storytelling and connection, not just recreation. Younger residents and visitors will learn that Morrisville's love of baseball and its community spirit runs deep. It becomes a visual bridge between past and present, showing today's players that they are part of a legacy bigger than themselves. Now imagine this, a website where each mural in town has a QR code that tells the story. The Love mural under the Route 1 bridge, the Pool mural, Ashland's mural, and if approved, the history of Williamson Park, the Island, and Morrisville Little League. This project turns memory into momentum, honoring the past, uplifting the seniors who carry that history, and inspiring future generations to continue Morrisville's tradition of teamwork, perseverance, and pride. And this is only the beginning. Imagine murals at Patriots Park, the Colvin land down by the river, and other locations around town. Each one teaching residents about the history of Morrisville. Because if people don't know the past, how can we move into the future? I hope you choose this project for what it can do for Morrisville. That's why I'm behind it. And if you know me, you know I'm careful about what I put my name on. I have to believe in it, and then I pray on it. Have a blessed night. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Hal?
I just have a comment. I would just like to say that this is a great opportunity, to highlight Morrisville's history. What?
Mic on?
It's on? It's on? Oh. Okay, I'd just like to say that this is a great opportunity to highlight Morrisville's history and to bring art to Morrisville. How great is that?
And, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What are the... No, can you stay right there? What are the chances of actually bringing baseball back to town? Because I don't believe we have a high school team, and our Legion team split. Is there a high school team?
Yeah.
How are they doing this year?
I think they're doing pretty well.
Scott, he needs to be at the mic. If you're going to talk, you need to be Hal. Hal, you need to be at the mic.
I didn't believe they had a high school team until I seen them down the field playing. So, any questions?
What you're asking for is just, because it doesn't sound like you're asking for money. You guys have already worked on fundraising grants and stuff like that. So you're just looking for approval to be able to place them on the building itself from us?
Right.
Okay, I just want clarity to what it was that we're looking for approval for here.
Well, we're looking for approval to use the building, I guess, or to get the okay.
And do you have the drawings, the renderings?
They're right
Well,
there
two of them
on
are
this
done.
table.
The Danny Napoleon and Dick Hart one are in them
Well,
pictures.
those are just photos. They're not
they're
the
drawings.
Who's doing the drawings?
The artist from Trenton that did the Richie Cole's jazz musician from Trenton.
Did you supply council with all that information?
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
I think it would be wonderful for the students of Morrisville and the children of Morrisville to be able to see the history and the legacy of our Morrisville sports legends, and give them something really to be proud of.
I mean, the sports one is, in my mind, is just the beginning. I mean, imagine having down the Colvin land, down the river. People don't even know there was a ferry here before the bridges were built.
It's a great way to portray our history, and I love the QR codes around that would have more information. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it'll be a while, but that's the plan. You have to start with a plan.
You do. You do. Thank you, Hal.
Okay, thank you.
Well, is this something that we can vote, we can put on the agenda for next month to approve?
He has to get us some information.
You need, the artist, what other information do you want him to give?
The office will contact Hal and tell them what they need.
I'm sorry, I didn't
The
hear.
office will contact him and tell him what he needs.
Okay.
What they need. Public comment for agenda items only. Don Rice, he stepped out. Holly Harmon.
Can you answer my question?
Pamela Scott. And then right after that, Olivia Scott.
She's with me.
I know. I figured as much. She's beautiful.
Do you want to stand with me? Want to stay there? Okay.
There's eyes.
She's going to stay seated.
Okay.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Pamela Scott, and I'm here tonight to speak with you about the Morrisville Library. I've lived in Morrisville for 15 years. I'm a small business owner, and I'm a parent. I own a yoga studio right on the edge of Morrisville, and I serve Morrisville residents every day. I chose to build my business here because I believe in this community and the direction that it can go. I brought my daughter tonight with me because she wanted to come. The Morrisville Library is her self-declared happy place, and it plays an integral part in her daily life. We visit the library often and see the effort that it takes the part-time librarians to keep things running now that the library has lost both its head librarian and the children's librarian. It amazes us that even though the staff are stretched thin, they still greet us with warmth and help and service. Beyond being a happy place and a place to check out books, the library provides essential resources for our community. Access to computers and printers, free museum passes, children's programming, and even a unique seed sharing program. These are practical, meaningful resources that directly support us. And as John F. Kennedy said, the life of a city depends on the quality of its libraries. I also want you to know that this concern extends beyond my personal family. A few months ago, I started a petition to help the library on change.org that now has over 250 signatures, along with additional ones that we collected in person at the library. There's a clear, growing community support to protect this resource, and I want to quote one person who signed this petition and added a personal reflection. She said, "When my husband and I were deciding where to buy a house, we came and we walked around the neighborhood to get a feel for the community. Two women we passed told us that they were walking to the library and then to the canal. This walkable connection and quiet charm is what sold us on Morrisville." I also want to address something that might be considered, that there's another library just 10 minutes away in Yardley. And while I'm grateful for that neighboring resource, access is not just about driving distance. It's about walkability, independence, and the ability for children, seniors, and families to use the library every day. I'll be honest, I can't imagine our town without it. I'm here tonight as a concerned resident to respectfully ask for your help, specifically to post and fund a paid head librarian or director position for our library. Thank you for your time and everything you do for our community.
Thank you. Don, did you want to say something? Agenda items? Go ahead.
I was out talking with Dominic just now, and I have issues with the new trash cans. They're just too big for getting down 8 steps, which is what I have, and they don't even fit on my sidewalk. That goes from the house down to the steps. And I would want to encourage anybody that's listening, if you got a problem like mine, do what they say and contact the borough, because I was real hopeful after talking with him that he will try and treat problems individually. And if there are something like on-street parking, which is another one that I was concerned about, which is more, it affects Crown Street, it affects Stockham Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue, that they'll look into it and try and come up with something that's satisfactory to you, not just that meets the specifications of their contract with the borough. So I found him to be, I'm really hopeful that he'll take care of any problems that we have.
Thank you, Don. The engineering report, Jacob.
Hello, everyone. So first, I'll start off quick with an announcement. Today, I just found out, and I know letters went out to the residents, that the MMA is working on the pavement restoration in that first ward for their 2025 water main replacement project, starting tomorrow, 4/22, and continuing into 4/23 Thursday. The following roads will be affected. That's Baker Avenue, Anderson Avenue, Hall Avenue, Ohio Ave, Brooks Ave, Hill Ave, Dieter Ave, and Essex Lane. So all cars will need to be removed from the street, and parking will not be permitted during these days. They will still permit through traffic to your homes, and they will accommodate that. They should have signage and stuff up as well, so watch out for that happening. So going on to the agenda items I have for you tonight. So the first one is under your consent agenda, and that is for the Morrisville Borough Trail Project to submit a DCD Greenways Trails and Recreation Program grant application, again, to improve the levee trail and extend it towards that southern riverfront preserve area that is on there. One of the items under your action agenda items is for the 2023 road program. Yes, I did not mess up the date on that one. So at the time of the 2023 conclusion, the contractor, James D. Morrissey, was looking for a change order request that was not permitted under the contract documents. And we were going back and forth negotiating. And I had sent the final payment application for the release of the retainage, and they had just never signed it or dealt with it until now. So it is on there to close it out, to release the money that there then was withheld from their first two payments during that project. The next items that I have on there are together. They're for the East Bridge Street Backflow Preventer Project. I know I've mentioned this before. It was related to the levee accreditation study, one of the projects that was identified out of that study. So the borough received some grant funding to put 2 backflow preventer devices in pipes on the southern side of East Bridge Street, which connect into the Williamson Park stormwater system. So these devices will be installed to not let water back up into the park during high river events. So there's a material purchase, so we'll purchase the material separately and then have an installation done by a contractor, PKB Contractors, which we did go through and solicit 3 bids for that, and they were the lowest one on that. Are there any questions on the agenda items before I just go to general projects?
I do. I have a quick question on the agenda items. I don't know, should I ask the questions to the engineer now or when the motion comes up? What would you prefer?
You can ask it now while I'm standing up here. That works.
Okay, the quick question I had is just to remind and the public, myself, the backflow preventer, does that actually remove any additional houses from the floodplain on the island?
It will, yes. It in conjunction with that larger wastegate, the canal project, relocating the canal wastegate.
The two have to be done together?
Yes. This one will just remove a little bit in the, I want to say in that big open lawn area next to the parking lot in Williamson Park, closer to Bridge Street.
Right.
That will get shrunk down, but then the canal wastegate project will help remove more of those homes on Park and Central Avenue.
Okay, great. And I have a question on something that was on the engineer report, but it's not on our agenda, can I ask you about that now?
Sure.
Okay, I just have a quick question. There was on your report a Western Avenue boundary survey. Can you explain what that was for?
Yeah, so it came up from code and the borough staff that there's that pond down in the first ward. And I guess there was some concerns of encroachment into the borough property. The borough does own that pond.
Correct.
So we are staking out the property line to confirm if there's been any encroachment on the borough property.
In case what?
Any encroachment on the borough property.
Oh, okay. All right, great. And with the two items that are on the agenda regarding the backflow, I know that we've got a majority of grants, but I'm just curious, was there any of that project not covered by grants? Just wondering what the taxpayers ended up paying for it.
Yeah, I don't know that off the top of my head. I know the levy accreditation, I know there was, I think, some sort of match for those grants. And there's a slight match for this one as well. I want to say it's about $8,000 for this
Okay,
grant.
thank you. Well, that's good information. Thank you. That's all.
So
I have a quick question, Jacob, if that's all right, about the Patriots Park in the report that you sent us. Can I ask that now?
Yep, go ahead.
Is that referring to just the parking lot that we're going to repave at Patriots Park? Or does some of that include the rendering that we have in the back over the vision for Patriots Park?
This right now is just for the parking lot.
Just for the parking lot.
All the amount of grant funding that is available, that's all that we could work out of the budget. So it'll include expanding some of the limits of that. There's some landscaping trees, some curbed islands, and some lighting in there as well. And it'll redo some of those sidewalks immediately right around the parking lot now to make them a little bit more walkable and safe.
Okay, thanks.
So we're working through the funding still with Patriots Park and just taking it section by section as we get things that are in and appropriate for it.
Yep, as we can get money for it.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
So then I have a couple non-agenda items, just project updates. And the first one is the 2026 road program. So we held a pre-construction meeting with JDM at the beginning of the month here, the contractor that was awarded the project, to discuss the scheduling and set up the project. And so at the time of the project, JDM brought up to us that the current asphalt prices have obviously increased due to the gas price increase. So because of that, they would be subject to a change order increase to their contract per the contract. So we've been working with them, and they've used the PennDOT bituminous material price adjustment method to calculate what that increase would be. And as of right now, it's $27,955 would be the change order. So it would be a new total contract price for JDM of $1,209,367.32. So this asphalt price does change monthly. The next one will be coming out next week. We're going to check that again next week with JDM. If it goes down, great. If it goes up, talking with the borough staff, I think my recommendation would be to move the project later into the summer and not start off right away. If it does go down, or if it is agreed that the $27,000 is still acceptable under the budget, JDM would be ready to start on May 4th with the project. So I'm going to work with JDM through this week and into next week to find out what that new asphalt price, it's based on when they place the material. So if they start in May, they have to use the May index for that. So we will check that again and monitor that and provide updates. But if it does start on May 4th, they will, again, put advanced signage out there on the streets telling you to move your cars. And then they'll continue moving along. I think the the map is up on the website, I believe, and the list of all the roads up in the 3rd and 4th wards that were awarded for that project. Again, they'd take probably about a month to complete that project. So I will keep updated everyone, and we can post on the website if it is going to start in May 4th. The next one is the other big project, and that's the Manor Park, the Senior Center parking lot project. So we had the project was awarded, and we had a pre-construction again last week for this to discuss with the contractor scheduling, and we had the borough and the county was all there at that meeting. As I was writing my notes for this meeting, I did not have the E&S permit, and as of this afternoon, I do have the E&S permit now. So that was the one big piece we were waiting to get them scheduled. So I will be working with them starting tomorrow to come up with a schedule. But at the time of the pre-construction meeting, they were around 2-3 weeks from the date that I gave them the permit to get out there. So I anticipate that here starting up pretty soon, likely the middle of May, if not earlier in May. And they were estimating around 4 to 6 weeks to complete that project. That will require full closure of the parking lot. So we will, again, notify the senior center staff and keep the borough updated, and everyone, there will be, they will block off the entrances, but no one should be able to get in there and access that. The playground will remain open, and the senior center and the courthouse will remain open as well. So that, again, that should be starting up here soon to correct those wavy parking lot. And again, that's a grant-funded project as well. And then the last one, as Helen mentioned, was the award for the 2026 CDBG curb ramp project. So we had applied for that grant in February and just found out here at the end of March. And the county gave us a pretty quick schedule to get this out to bid and everything. So we already are working on the bid documents. They would like to have it out to bid in May, awarded in June, and then construction starting here in the summer, July, August, depending on the contractor's schedule. And this will include, I can't remember the number of curb ramps off the top of my head, but they were along Prospect Ave between Lafayette and Cox Avenue, and then there were a couple on Hamilton Boulevard, all around the school there to go along with that West Palmer Street curb ramp project as well. So that's all I have tonight for an update. If there's any other questions, I can answer them, but.
Jacob, last month we did the trails, and could you tell me how much that cost to put all of that together?
Yeah, so for the first part, to do that feasibility analysis, the look at all the trails in the area, review that past study, put that together, it was around $3,000 for that effort. And then we're submitting 2 grant applications. Last month was the DVRPC grant application, and this month is the DCD one. And they each are bound $5,000 each, I'd say, for those efforts. And they do go together. Some applications are harder. They have more exhibits and whatnot we have to provide for them. So they do cross over, but it's around $5,000 for each grant then.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I should bring up, I quickly calculated as of 2026, so far these 4 months, Borough has brought in about $1.7 million in grant funding so far. And then from Gilmore.
Could you say that a little louder?
$1.7 million.
That's just in 2026.
Just 2026.
3.5 months.
Yep. And then these are applications that, one of them was actually one we submitted in 2024, the fire truck one. And then the other ones were all submitted last year. And as far as Gilmore's been involved with the borough since 2016, it's about $7 million in grants that have been brought in to the borough. So
great job, Jacob.
Just wanted to bring that up. But
One thing I just want to say thank you. It's great that we actually have EIT money now that allows us to pay for engineering to do some studies. We never had that money before, so it's great that we have the EIT money coming in to pay for it. And I would also like to, again, ask the borough manager and you, could some of us please meet with you to talk about those trail grant that you're going to put in. If we could get something that's actually something that's what we know that the residents want or have been asking for, to find out if it's possible, and of course with you, but just to give you an idea that we were not afforded last time. We could have given you a much better direction that could have been in, I think, what I would think would be a better plan. But if we had that opportunity, it would be really great.
just want to also point out, Ms. Colgan, that you approached the borough manager about those trails. He asked the engineer to put together a plan based on other things going on in the borough. He put it together. You voted no. So this would have cost, if the rest of us had voted no and it didn't pass, it would have cost the borough $13,000. So for something that you wanted, asked for, received, you voted no on it.
No, I asked the borough manager if we could meet with the borough manager, meet with the engineer in a public, or at least even during the day. We could just spend 1 hour of the time. Could we walk with him, whatever? We were not allowed to have any communication with Jacob, and he had to go off of paper plans as opposed to talking about exactly what we were looking for. So we had no opportunity to talk with him.
You do.
So I don't
you
know
are
how
one.
Jacob could have been able to execute something that would have been more reasonable if he didn't have any ideas about it.
The rest of us thought it was very reasonable. The rest of us thought it was very reasonable. You may not like the plan he came up with, but you're one of 8. Solicitor report. Thank you, Jacob.
Yes, thank you. First off, prior to this evening's meeting, the council met in an executive session where an item of litigation involving the Stockham building was discussed. And I'll get a little bit into that here as well, because there's a couple items on the agenda for your consideration. As many are aware and have heard, the Stockham building, obviously, I don't even have to say heard, you can see it, has been in bad shape, and it's been in bad shape for a long time. Last year, the current owner of the property, a holding company, provided a structural report, a cost estimate, basically describing the condition of the building and how much it would cost to shore up the building, make it ready to even possibly begin rehab. Those costs exceeded the normal rehab to get it reusable. It got to the point that they had been working the rest of the last year trying to find additional funding, additional investors. They were not able to do that. It got to the point that our code enforcement was filing daily citations against them. I think in total it lasted up to 90 plus citations. We got guilty verdicts in front of our magistrate here in Morrisville. In the last couple of weeks, they've come back to us as well as the redevelopment authority, willing to basically turn over the property, turn over the building, allow us to unfortunately get the building down. I know everyone would like to see it, but the cost prohibitive of shoring it up is just too much to overcome. But they're willing to finally put it in hands of municipal entities, the borough, who can get control and have a plan to A, get the site safe, and B, put it back to a productive use in the borough. So on the agenda here later, we have 2 items. One of them would be to entering into a cooperation agreement with the RDA to allow that to happen, as well as asking our engineer to design the bid specifications to go out for the demolition of the property. Any questions on that, or we could wait till the agenda items to come up for any questions as well. A couple other items on your agenda. We have 3 items related to the Cloverleaf property, related to just advertisement of ordinances. The purported developer, someone who's willing and interested to redevelop the property, has presented different plans here over the last few months. I believe they were here in November. It might have been October. Actually, it might have even been December. Apologize, I can't remember the specific date. But they were here, presented a plan. Just with regard to executing their plan, they've asked for a couple of modifications to our zoning ordinance and zoning map. With regard to the zoning map, there's a small parcel between the large parcel and Pennsylvania Avenue that's in a different zoning district. They're just asking to make it the same zoning district as the larger parcel, as well as some modifications to lot size and dimensional requirements in our zoning ordinance as it relates to the type of cluster development they're doing. The third ordinance, they're asking for an advertised. During the title search, our engineers discovered that this parcel has numerous paper streets listed throughout them that never happened, never occurred. What a paper street is just that. It's a street on paper. Someone designed the layout of a grid pattern at one point or other streets. They never got developed. That property reverts back to the property owner, and this is just the legal mechanism to shore that up. Same thing. If you have any questions specifically about those, I can answer them now or when the agenda items come up. But again, this would just be for advertisement to send them out. And then obviously there would be another vote at a future meeting if you were to pass any of these ordinances. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Does anybody in the public have any questions of Solicitor Holbert? Okay. Okay, the police chief report.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening, Chief.
Well, thank you. Last month, we had 953 calls for service. Our Part 1 offenses, which again are those more serious ones, were up almost double from the month before, but those were those car issues that we talked about at the last meeting. And I think it was right here at the last meeting that I got noticed while we were here that Falls Township made an arrest with 3 juveniles in one of those stolen cars. And since then, it's been rather quiet. We have had an uptick recently of thefts of catalytic converters and cooking oil. So, yeah, so businesses put their cooking oil into large vats in the ground and a company comes around and collects it. And there's a business in it and people have been stealing it. So these things are happening overnight. Our overnight guys are trying to stay out and about and look for certain types of activity, but they both make noise. When a person cuts the catalytic converter out of a car, they're using a Sawzall and it's pretty loud. And when they steal the cooking oil, they're pumping it. So the pump is usually pretty loud. So I encourage any residents, if you're woken up in the middle of the night, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you hear something that doesn't sound right, there's a good possibility, especially if you're in one of these areas where you're near a restaurant, it could be a theft going on or a catalytic converter. So please call us. Again, if you hear something and it's usually overnight in the wee hours and it doesn't seem right, it probably isn't. Please call us. So our Part 2 offenses, which are the less serious ones, were a little bit less than last month, 26 as opposed to 23, and we're just about on par for what we were, exactly identical to last year, year to date. Just a couple things I wanted to go over. Jacob was nice enough to let me mention this, but as of today, the Sally Port is fully functional. Yeah, they finished the programming for the fobs, the door works. So I would like to thank the governing body for the support to get this project going. Also Jacob, who were pretty much the project manager on this and saw that every bug was worked out with the different companies that were involved. Everybody came together. It took a little bit of time, but it's working. Everybody has their fobs. We talked about maybe having a ribbon cutting sometime in the near future. But as of right now, if we bring somebody in, they're coming in through that Sally Port, so that's great news. I also wanted to update that the patrol car that was voted on last month has been ordered. It should be at the upfitter by next week, and then we're at the mercy of the upfitter. That could take a couple of weeks to a couple of months to get done. One good thing about that was when one of the cars was crashed right before I got here, we stripped all the equipment. So having that equipment that we were able to use in this car is saving us $8,000 for the upfit. So that's actually great news. We were talking about the possibility of getting some lighted signs for Pennsylvania Avenue to direct truck traffic. I have a quote for signboards. I'll pass them through to the mayor and council so everybody can see it. Maybe it's something we could discuss and see if it's in the budget to maybe vote on next month. Drug take back is this Saturday from 10 to 2 right here at police headquarters. So if anybody in the community has any unused or expired prescription medicines, they could bring it here. There's going to be an officer in the lobby on the north side of the building who will take anything that you have and it'll be properly disposed of. And I just wanted to update that I was working on a few grants. I wrote 2 grants recently, one for National Night Out and one for additional body cameras. Neither one of them are matching grants, so it's free money if we were to be awarded. We're still waiting on that. There's a couple other grants that I was looking into. We're coming up on a couple of issues. Our report writing system is really at the end of life. Central Square is not servicing it anymore, and the county has discontinued their contract with them. So we're going to have to explore a new report writing system, and the same thing is with our portable radios. They're also coming up on end of life. They work perfect. We can keep using them, but if they have issues or they break, Motorola is not making parts anymore or providing service to this radio. So it's something we'll have to plan for in the future. I did talk to Congressman Fitzpatrick's chief of staff recently about the possibility of funding, but there's no guarantee on that, and that's something I'm waiting on. And the last thing I wanted to update is also, as of today, we are live on Police App. Police App is a website where applicants from anywhere in the country can find job openings and apply directly on that site. The beauty of Police App is that it has a tremendous reach, and it's no cost to us. The applicants will pay a $40 application fee for when they apply, and that's the total cost. If we wanted to increase the reach, I guess the clicks, right, we can pay for that, but I don't think there's a need to. And we just posted today, which is live, a position for a part-time officer with a focus on truck enforcement specifically. So we're hoping to get somebody who applies that has the understanding that that's what they'll be doing, and we'll give them the hours to go out there and enforce trucks, in addition to what we're currently doing. I know today we were out there for a bit, and they were stopping trucks. It becomes difficult. We've had a lot of things lately that have tied us up. Just tonight before the meeting, there was a truck on fire, fully engulfed on Bridge Street, and that just locks down a squad for a significant time. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that report.
Thank you.
I would
And it
just
actually, sorry, excuse me one moment, Diane.
Sorry.
Yep. It also highlights Morrisville and how unique we are here. And you had mentioned the calls for service, and they continue to go up. And the size of our police department, I know council had asked for a detailed assessment of our staffing levels down there in the police department, knowing that we do need to continue to grow in order to make sure that our residents are safe and the well-being of our residents as well as at the top of our minds. So if you can just give us a very brief one, not going too much into detail of this, of your report and recommendations that we should take to make sure that we are staffed appropriately so our residents are safe.
So I'll just touch very briefly on a couple of the highlights, and one of them being that our staffing has not grown in the last 20 years. It's actually declined. That number has declined over the course of 20 years. The needs of the community and the expectations placed on police has only grown in that time. So that's kind of an indication that we need to increase our staffing levels just to keep up with the needs of the community and the expectations placed on police. The other thing that's really unique, the word you use, to Morrisville, is our proximity to Trenton. Just so everybody knows, Trenton is second only to Newark in New Jersey in shootings, and that number climbs almost every day. And given that we have 3 pathways from there to here, this is a place where people flee criminal activity and come through Morrisville. And we know this because since I've been here alone, the marshals have been here multiple times looking for people wanted for homicides out of New Jersey, and we've apprehended several of them in some of our areas here. The other thing is that I wanted to highlight is that Bucks County Planning Report. That report was conducted in 2024. And what it did was identified staffing throughout the county, and it identified any surpluses or shortages within the departments. It says that we should have 25 officers, which I know is unrealistic. However, what stood out to me was the fact that it identified Morrisville as having the greatest shortage of officers in the county. With that being said, last year we had the most calls for service of any borough in the county. If you compare us to Quakertown, which is similar in size, calls for service, and population, they have 21 full-time officers. So I think that number is probably unrealistic for us today, probably tomorrow, but in order to provide that level of police service that we want to, because like I said today, we had a truck on fire, the 2 officers were tied up for more than an hour. Other things happened during that time. Either I'm running out or we're just telling people, we're sorry, we're going to get to you when we get to you, which is not really the way we want to conduct business. And that stuff happens all too often. So the only squad that has 3 is Corporal Hallis' squad. And that's going to change soon because Sergeant Esperanti is most likely going to be leaving in June. With that said, he has some vacation time that he's going to have to use before that. So the plan is to move Corporal Hallis over to his spot because he won't be here. So again, it'll put us back down to minimum 2 officers per squad. We've been running into issues lately, and this is something that the Chiefs Association is dealing with, where when we arrest somebody after hours, we can call a district court judge at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. If you're outside of those windows, you're holding that prisoner. We had a stolen car that came through town last week, and Chris Carlin located it, stopped it. There was 2 people inside, arrested both. One of them was a juvenile, and they were both from Virginia. So now here we are. We can't just put this juvenile out on the street. We were fortunate enough that juvenile intake was taking this person, and then we still had to deal with the adult. But to have an officer now have to drive up to Doylestown is pretty difficult because now you're leaving one officer on the road. So I can answer any questions and keep going, but I think that the gist is that we're at a point where we can no longer provide that service and keep up with the calls for service.
I appreciate it, Chief, and thanks for giving that little synopsis of it and this very well detailed report that was emailed to all of council, solicitor, and borough manager. So I look forward to having this discussion at the next council meeting on staffing.
I do too, Chief, and I would just like to say some of the things that really jumped out at me in this report that were very concerning were the fact that we had 9 18-hour marathon shifts were needed in just September because of shortages, vacations.
That was one person being out on injury.
Many of these 18-hour blocks were back-to-back with officers returning after just 6 hours of rest for another 12 to 18-hour shift. That is unsafe for any resident, and it's also unsafe for our police to be working with those kinds of hours. And then the other thing that just astounds me is that 25% of all traffic across Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge Commission runs through Morrisville. So we are dealing with 88,000 cars a day across our 3 bridges, which are bringing criminals in and out and through our town.
It's a burdensome overlap.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yes. So the very concerning statistics.
You know, one of the things we look at also is we want Morrisville to grow, right? Because I always say this, selfishly speaking, if the town grows, the police department has to grow with it, right? So we want Morrisville to flourish. But if going back to Corporal Hallis, I will quote him. I can't take credit for this. He said to me one day, he said, "We can make Morrisville the Taj Mahal, but if there's homeless people sleeping at the front door, nobody's going to come in." So we want to keep this borough safe, clean, and a place where people want to come.
I just have another question. I know you said your dream team would be 25.
Not even
But
that.
what would be your number to run this department proficiently?
So again, I know that growth is a process, right? You have to walk before you can run. I think that hiring 2 additional officers, full-time officers at this time, would be a significant improvement. Those 2 officers or 2 officers will be placed on a 1-to-1 schedule, which would provide more coverage between 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Our officers work 7A to 7P and 7P to 7A, so that in between overlap would provide coverage during the busier times of the day and evening. Another thing that we would certainly like to explore in the future is somebody with investigative experience or have one of our officers trained as an investigator. We have right now double digits of juvenile investigations. And I'm not talking about kids fighting in the park. I'm talking about serious crimes against juveniles. And the amount of time that goes into these investigations, I have an officer now that has 3 of them. And she's doing the best she can. And I talked to her about, I need you on the street more, but we also need to complete these investigations. The DA's office came down last week. We had an incident on Bridge Street, and they're fantastic. They lend a hand, they lend expertise, but we can't rely on them. And they don't want to be our sole investigators. So that's something that we're going to look at in the future. I've said in the past that 15 is a great number, but these 2 or 2 additional would certainly get us moving in the right direction.
Just to be clear, does 2 additional also cover the one that's about to retire, or is it 2 additional plus the one to?
It would have to be 2 additional plus the 1. Otherwise, you would fall right back to where you were.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Chief, I also wanted to point out and thank you for taking the extra steps for the police app to throw the part-time police officer on there. Again, we do have it. We had donations for a truck enforcement officer. Our ideal situation was to have Corporal Hallis, who went through the training, and be down there. But the department and the calls do not allow him to, so it really makes it a struggle to take care of that. So I think it was a great alternative to think about a part-time officer dedicated to the truck traffic.
Well, in addition to that, if you don't mind me going further, Corporal Hallis has certifications to do 2 types of inspections, level 1 and level 2 inspections. And with the truck traffic that's been diverted to Philadelphia Avenue, mainly the tandem dump trucks are following that route. And that is pretty much his biggest business, right, of being in non-compliant. So the 18-wheelers, not so much. For him to conduct an inspection, it's minimum 45 minutes, sometimes about an hour and a half. We don't have a scale right now, so we can't put them on there to see if they're overweight. So really, he's just looking at things like brakes, paperwork, things like that. And it's not bringing in the return for the time that he's putting it out there. I think by having a part-time officer who is dedicated to nothing but South Pennsylvania Avenue, that's going to place a lot more focus in that area where the problem is. So that's the idea behind that.
Chief, I appreciate the report and all, and the information that you sent us. A lot of what you're saying to me sounds like it reflects a lot of the reports I was reading into a few months ago, looking into this type of matter here in the borough. So I definitely appreciate similar information here and your willingness to let us know what we really realistically need to look at. And going back before all this, though, with the, you said lighted signage for trucks, I love that idea. I'd love to hear more about that down the line. I think you said next time you might have some more information for us on that.
I'll pass that out tomorrow.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people have mentioned to me down in my ward that they don't themselves notice the signage all the time. They think the trucks are having the issue. I live right near the dog park, so I've seen several times. I've even seen people post online too. Exactly what I can see out my window is trucks missing the signs, trying to comply, and forced to turn around, usually around down by the dog park and the tracks. or over in the old firehouse. So I think visibility might be part of that trouble as well for the trucks that are trying to comply.
Yes.
So the illuminated signs, I think, could definitely be helpful.
I think it'll help, and I think the placement is going to be strategic. I probably will have to reach out to North Point to see if we could put it down close to their property, because, again, there was only one sign previously before it was taken down, before Tyburn Road. Once they pass Tyburn Road, it's useless.
Yeah.
Because there's really nowhere to turn around. They need to have that better sign and that warning prior to Tyburn Road. I also talked to Fran last week. Mr. Dillon, you forwarded that email about the signs that are missing, and I updated him, and his response was that they're going to do what they can to get those replaced. So that's PennDOT.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
A question for the chief? When we're talking about truck enforcement, one thing that I think we've been noticing is that there's a lot of trucks that are coming down Bridge Street also that are probably overweight. Is there some way to make the trucks that are coming out of Britain not turn right but go left?
So I've met with Britain, and apparently there's another company back there. I don't know the name of it, but it's further back, and they're getting deliveries. I sat on my MY Lane a couple of weeks ago and stopped about a half a dozen trucks all from the same company. And, you know, I bluffed him when I said, "You're overweight." And he said, "How do you know?" I said, "Well, how about I just get a scale here and we'll ticket you for every pound you're over." And the guy said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So, you know, the bridge on West Bridge is a 64-ton limit. These tandems are coming in significantly over that if they're full. We're trying to send a message. Dan Carr from Britain has assured me that all of the drivers coming in and out of there know not to use Bridge Street, but I have to find out who works this company that's around the back and see if I can send the message to them. There was a big uptick a couple of months ago because that company was taking concrete, and there must have been a job in New Jersey because they were all coming from New Jersey and they were dropping off their concrete there.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, on to the consent agenda. Approval of the council meeting minutes from 2/17/26. Approval of the bill list from 3/1 to 3/31 in the amount of $597,082.12. Approval to adopt a resolution authorizing the submission of the Greenway Trails and Recreation Program GTRP grant application through the Department of Community and Economic Development for the Trail Improvement Project. Accept the resignation of Eileen Grossman Bailey. Her term expires March of 27, and Franklin Hedberg, his term expires March of 28 from the Library Board. Scott, did you make the motion?
So moved.
Debbie, would you second? I'm sorry, would you make a second, Debbie?
Sure, second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a change I'd like to see on the minutes. It was on page 4 regarding public comment on non-agenda items. Number 5, I would like struck from the minutes a phrase here that says creating a scene. That was not what happened and should be removed.
It was a scene.
Can we vote?
Sure.
It was a scene.
Well, if you could rewatch the minutes, and you'll see the person was calm, was speaking. She may have talked
Person
over
was
the gavel.
not calm.
I don't care. She did not create a scene, and this is inflammatory. This is not what happened. So please remove creating a scene from it. It is still identifying what happened. There is no reason for this inflammatory language.
I agree, and if I were out in the public laughing during a council meeting, I'm sure that the council president would castigate me and have me escorted from the office. There was no yelling, there was no cursing. Her mic was shut down, she was escorted out. At that time, on the landing, there was noise.
Hey,
walk out.
Guys,
you'd just like to take that out.
Just take it out.
So I skimmed over the minutes. What are we talking about here?
I said, page 4, do you have your minutes? Page
On my
4,
Are we
Page
talking about,
four,
are we talking about the
11?
public comment person? Yeah. The one that knows how Helen voted?
But what this phrase is inflammatory.
That one,
It is
right?
not descriptive. No, that is too subjective. It's subjective. I can say a lot of people make scenes, but I'm not going to write it down on my minutes.
Chief, how long have you been in law enforcement?
This is not a chief issue.
28 years. And your 28 years of law enforcement, could you categorize that as causing a scene or not?
I think.
I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot.
I don't think that's fair to put the chief on the spot here. What is he going to say?
Okay, I won't put him on the spot. If you saw what I saw, and you think that wasn't creating a scene,
it's 2 words.
You're crazy. If that was the epitome of creating a scene. Were you blind? You didn't see that?
We're going to waste a lot of time. Just remove it.
We're wasting
Talk about
time
how
over
long
this.
is going on. Just remove that phrase. You can still have accurate minutes.
All right, there's a motion to remove creating a scene. There's a second. Virginia, roll call.
First was.
Yes.
What is the motion? Remove it. So yes, yes.
No.
No. Yes. Yes.
What it stands for, yes.
No.
Yes, 2 words, creating a scene.
That's 3 words.
That's 3 words.
Great. I stand corrected.
Sarcasm from the audience isn't helping.
Okay, so creating a scene is being removed. Chief, what would you put in there instead? All right, we will change it to very passionate.
Did we have to vote on that? All we voted on was to remove creating a scene.
I don't care what I don't care. I don't care. Let's move on.
And was escorted out by the chief.
She created a scene.
Was what we just now voted on. Now you're changing it. So we're going to have to.
Okay, we're not changing anything.
You said you're changing it to very passionate.
I just took it back.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just take it.
It's just procedure.
Avoided all of it.
Okay, consent agenda motion. We have a motion and a second pending taking out creating a scene. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Scott, would you read the next motion, the action item?
Action item. I still can't believe we just did that for the last 5 minutes. Action item 10A. I call for a motion to approve the final 2023 road program payment number 2.
No, it's 23.
23, okay. Payment number 2 in the amount of $4,480.51 to James D. Morrissey Incorporated as recommended by the borough engineer.
Peggy, would you second?
I second the motion.
So just so it's clear, it is 2023. This is the final payment. They were working on getting us the final amount that was due based on their work versus what we already paid them. So it's only $4,480. All in favor? Oh, no, we're good. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Sean, would you read the next motion?
Sure. Call for a motion to authorize the purchase of materials for East Bridge Street backflow preventer project through A&E Associates for a total of $27,551.00. Materials cost to be covered by grant funds through PEMA.
Anna, would you second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Marie, would you read the next motion?
Call for a motion to award East Bridge Street backflow preventer project to the PKB Contractors Incorporation for the installation of the backflow devices for a total amount of $19,000. Installation cost to be covered by grant funds through PEMA.
Diane, would you second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Peggy, would you read the next motion?
Call for a motion to advertise the zoning map amendment regarding zoning TMP number 24-010-230 from the R2 residential district to the RN Riverview Neighborhood District.
Anna, would you second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Anna, would you read the next motion?
Call for motion to advertise the zoning ordinance amendment modifying design and dimensional standards in the Riverview Neighborhood District.
Debbie, would you second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question. We are on E, motion to advertise the zoning ordinance. Has this been sent to our planning commission yet, this request for zoning? Because it reads here, this amendment has been reviewed by the Morrisville Borough Planning Commission and the Bucks County Planning Commission, and a public hearing has been held pursuant to public notice as required by law. So has this been sent to our planning commission for review? Because typically when I was on the planning commission, we would discuss these issues of zoning with the appropriate professional, whether it be Jacob or the zoning commissioner. And then Mr. Doretto, the chair, would write a formal approval for the board to consider, or a formal proposal for the board to consider. And I did not see that note from Mr. Doretto in our packet.
Yeah, so this came in last week. Part of this is, yes, it's being sent to the planning commission. They obviously haven't reviewed it in total yet, but this is just the advertisement. So it was party in tandem, meaning that, yes, this will be on before you guys get it back. It will be, it's in front of the planning commission and the Bucks County Planning Commission, yes.
So then what exactly are we advertising? Just putting this out there as is to the public?
Correct, yes.
But prior to receiving feedback?
You'll advertise it to the public, yep, prior to receiving feedback, but you'll get the feedback before it comes back to you.
Well, if we have to make alterations, then we have to re-advertise to the public with the alterations?
Potentially, yes.
It just seems, why are we not waiting for a report back first and just kind of skip the potential of repeating this step later if there is an alteration?
That's a choice you can make if there's an alteration or if there's comments from the planning commission, but part of this is to get them to move forward with it, yeah. Part of the advertising, what you're doing is sending it to the planning commissions, is the way we've always done it in the past.
Oh, so this isn't just for public, this is to the planning commission?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I thought this was just for the public to make the arrangements for public hearing.
Yeah. The way we've done it in the past is any of these ordinances, we have you guys make the motion. If it's something you want to consider, before, same thing, you don't want to do two things. Why send it to the planning commission? If you guys don't want to consider it, we're not going to have the planning commission consider it.
I was under the impression the way it read, I thought it was going to the public. Why are we letting the public know first?
Okay. A little bit of both.
Wait a minute, I have a question too. Was this sent to the county planning commission?
The person who's requesting this is doing that, yes.
So the county planning commission has seen it,
No, they have not seen it. They are doing it, but they have not done it yet.
but I mean, they received it. It was sent to them, is all I'm saying.
No,
So,
I do not believe it's been sent to them yet because they're waiting for your vote this evening.
are you sure of that? Okay, all right, so
talked to
what
the
you're
attorney-
saying is the county, okay, so you're sending this to the county, to the our planning commission and to the county and advertising the hearing all at the same time. Good planning process, and even our municipal code says that it is, when you make zoning amendments, it should be a sequential process. What we should be doing is, and the way it's always been done, is that if there were changes that needed to be made on because I don't even know who made these decisions or these changes, it would go to our planning commission. They would work in conjunction with experts to make sure that this was a recommendation that we wanted to spend time and money on to put forth for everybody to see. And then once that information has been gathered, as Peggy said, they make that recommendation and bring it to us. That's what we should be advertising. Otherwise, the way we're doing it here now is that what will happen is if the information is received all at the same time and there is a decision to change it, it's going to cost us more time and money to re-advertise. Why don't we wait for all of the information to come in from our county? It can be heard by our planning commission on May 19th, May 11th, I believe is their next meeting. They can make that recommendation. This is the way when I was on planning for I don't know how long, that's what was always done. It was a process that worked together. And then that way we come up with the best thing, because I don't understand why some of these changes are not trivial. They're not just something that you're doubling steep slope disturbance. That's a very major thing. We need to hear before we even advertise this, why that needs to be done. What are the significant adversities? What are the complications if we do that? There's a reason why we have those certain disturbance rates now for sensitive areas. So why not wait for this and then gather that information, make sure that we're putting a recommendation out there that makes sense, and then we can advertise. That way we don't have to redo the whole thing down the line. This way, it looks like there's no intention of making any changes, because it will delay, and it will, and not only will it delay, it will cost more money. And so why not just do it this way? That there's no need to rush. Rushing any kinds of changes to your zoning ordinance just always comes out with a bad project. It is not recommended on a municipal planning code. So these are things that I think we really need to consider. Rushing things through like this is how you get projects, like in the 80s, the 7-Eleven strip mall. Things get rushed. This is not something that has to happen right now. This does not have to happen tonight. That's on my suggestion.
Yeah. As I said, when I was giving my report, these were requests, petitions from the developer. They drafted this. So actually, no, there is actually no cost to the borough, as this is part of a land development plan. All the costs for our review, Jacob's review, any advertising costs actually get pushed off to the developer. Anything you change, you are correct. It would have to theoretically be re-advertised, but that comes after the public hearing as well. So what you're asking for is to have a final product before you even hold your public hearing.
No, I'm asking.
No, that's what you were just saying, because this has to go back. If you make any changes to this, correct, it has to go back to the Bucks County Planning Commission, your planning commission. Part of this is creating the public hearing so that we get comments, and then that's your changes as well that get incorporated as the way of doing things. So if you guys have changes during the public hearing.
I understand this is the bare minimum you can do, but this is not an open or recommended planning process. It's not something we've ever done. Most municipalities don't do this. This is something that needs to be done by the planning commission and in conjunction with the experts.
And that's why it's going to the planning commission and the Bucks County Planning Commission.
Or we advertise.
Jacob, do you want to say anything about this? I mean, we have a developer that wants to develop a piece of property that's been sitting down there for how many years?
30 years.
How many?
30.
30. They're in here. They made their proposal. Let's get it advertised. And then if you don't like it, deny it. Throw it out. But you got to start moving.
And we are reviewing the plan against all those changes as well to make sure they still are practical and acceptable for the borough. So we are reviewing that plan right now. So.
Thank you, Jacob. This also tells the public, correct, Scott?
Yes. Yeah, it's so the public has the information. They can get out to the public. And what if they have comments? I mean, we have a dozen plus people here tonight, and they might have comments. So this way it gets out to them as well. I mean, the idea is sometimes you do advertise twice, and that happens.
May I ask a question for clarity so I know what I'm voting on?
Yes.
Okay, so if I say yes to this, I am simply calling for a motion, I'm approving a motion to advertise the zoning ordinance amendment. But we're doing that without having a recommendation from our planning commission yet, who hasn't seen it yet, right?
You will have their decision and recommendation when it comes back to you at a public meeting to either approve the ordinance or deny the ordinance.
And I don't understand why we're doing this now. If we have to wait for them anyway.
Process, you're trying to get it moving. The developer wants to develop after 30 years.
I understand that, and I'm very happy.
Scott can explain it 100 million times to you. Unfortunately, Scott cannot make you understand. I don't know what is so hard to figure out with this. Just vote no if you don't like it. I don't want to be here all night bickering over this. If you can't comprehend what he's saying, then vote no.
Well,
Yes.
at this point, can we at least table it till we get further clarification?
The cloverleaf has been sitting down there for 30 years. Let's get moving on it and move the town forward instead of this stupid minutia sitting here. Well, we don't do this, we don't do that. I don't know who explained all that to you, Debbie, but whoever got in your ear with
Would you like to
that.
see the section in the municipal planning code that tells you what it is, what the recommendation is? Would you like to find out?
I would, but I think the solicitor knows more about the law than you do.
Not how you do it. This is not good planning process.
I trust in Scott.
Exactly. There's no rush.
There is a rush.
No, 1 month is not going to change anything.
It could change a lot of things.
Well, then, if it needs to change, this is going to, the way you're doing it, you're going to possibly make it longer. So let's not delay it. Let's do it the right way, and the right way is
This is the right way. Okay, to vote however you vote your conscience. All in favor, say aye.
No, I think she just.
I think I just made a motion to table it.
No, you didn't make a motion to table.
She's making it now.
She asked, can we? That's not making a motion.
Then I make the motion to table this.
Okay, motion to table. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor of tabling it, say aye. Well,
aye.
Virginia,
Aye.
come do roll call.
Yes.
No.
No. No.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Mayor?
No.
Motion fails. Okay, back to the motion to advertise. Virginia, roll call. Correct.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
No.
No. Yes.
No.
Mayor?
I do want to thank the solicitor and everyone's input on this. Clearly, this is the step that we needed to take in order to get it out and moving. It has been sitting for far too long. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion passes 5-4. Scott, F.
Right.
F. We just did E.
Action item 10F. I call for a motion to advertise ordinance vacating paper streets contained in the Cloverleaf property.
Marie, would you second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Peggy, 10G.
Call for a motion to enter into a cooperation agreement with the redevelopment authority of the County of Bucks and/or the County of Bucks concerning the Stockham building, subject to approval by the borough solicitor.
Sean, would you second?
I second.
Any discussion?
Quick question, when will we see, can we see that cooperation agreement?
You will, yes. Yeah, I'll make sure it's good, and you guys would see in advance before we finalize any agreement. Absolutely.
And is there a way to make sure that in the demolition process, we preserve any of the artifacts and architectural features that we might be able to save? I know there's a lovely fountain in there, and there's some other artwork and fixtures that I think we could salvage.
There's nothing in there.
Pardon?
There's nothing in there.
I've seen a few pictures that there are some things in there. Can we just,
I'm just letting you know that we did a tour in May and there was nothing in there. The fountain is a nightmare and there is no artwork. The walls are bare.
Is there any way that we can...
They will save anything they can. They'll save the 1911 sign, but I'm just letting you know that the inside does not have anything.
Well, I've seen some pictures of some things that are there amidst the rubble, so I don't know.
And it's still there. There is the fountain is still there today. And the Stockham building, 1911, that would be an excellent thing to make sure we salvage.
Okay,
Get to the
all in
bidding.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Sean, would you read the next motion?
Call for a motion to direct Gilmore and Associates to design demolition bid specifications for the Stockham building.
Anna, would you second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Diane, would you read the next motion?
I call for motion to authorize the purchase of new street signs in the amount of $12,970.70 and poles in the amount of $6,297.73 for the 2026 road program.
Marie, would you second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Anna, would you read the next motion?
Call for motion to approve the Economic Development Corp., EDC, to plant a 10-feet Norway spruce at the Borough Hall to enable town Christmas tree lighting.
Debbie, would you second?
I second.
Any discussion?
I would like to make a comment. This is kind of my field of expertise. And is there a reason we are picking a Norway spruce and not, say, a fir tree? Norway spruces tend to get some really serious issues and they tend to die from the bottom up pretty quickly.
This was a request from the EDC. They're here. Does anybody want to make a comment to that?
I mean, I don't know if there's an option or if you just chose Norway spruce because that was just, an evergreen.
Well, it was the #1 Christmas tree, so that's what we chose. It was the most quintessential shaped Christmas tree, so that's what we chose.
Okay.
It wasn't. We would definitely take. I'm not an arborist, so I'm not a tree expert. So it was just something that we know is. They use at Rockefeller Center, so that's specifically why we chose it.
Well, the ones at Rockefeller Center aren't alive. So,
They're also 60
I got you.
years old.
I get you. I get you. Yeah.
So,
I get you.
I mean, we'll definitely, if you want to let me know.
Let me get with you after the meeting and we'll
Absolutely.
exchange phone numbers. Maybe we
Yeah.
could discuss something.
Fantastic.
Are
We
we
haven't
able-
purchased anything, so.
Were you able to approve this, and then if there's a modification later, like maybe you do decide to go with a different tree? Because I love the idea.
Yeah, I mean,
And obviously,
the
I would say
tree
she's probably a great
itself is not-
resource, so.
Yeah, the tree itself is, the type of tree isn't going to hold us back. We'll go with whatever.
No, yeah. If-
Whatever's
if-
appropriate.
if you all see it as consensus, you're fine with possibly changing the tree. You don't need to change the motion or anything. Really, the thing is just about getting the tree and planting it here. It's the real
Yeah.
part of the motion.
Yes,
Yeah.
an evergreen, yes,
And you'll work with John later.
absolutely.
Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All, motion passes 8-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, the EDC. Motion 10K is a motion to post, to direct the borough manager to post a director of the library and begin the process immediately thereafter. Do I have a motion?
I motion that we post, that we request.
Just asking for a motion. I already read it. Do we have a second?
Second.
Anna is the second. Discussion.
I would just like to thank so much, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, you and your daughter for coming out here and for your daughter for sitting through this long meeting. I think you were so eloquent about what this library means to our town. And the point that you made about us, and I know that some people feel we don't need our own library because we have Lower Makefield, but we have a number of people without easy access to cars. We have a senior citizen tower over here that walks across the street to the library, and they often do not have cars because I know, I drive them places when they need a ride. We have Holy Trinity, who comes over and uses our library. We have the preschool and the daycare centers who use it and come to our programs. So we waited the 3 months. We determined that a consultant was too expensive. My feeling is if we hire a director, post and hire a director, that director will have the qualifications we need to determine the best staffing, the best programs. We'll be able to write grants and be able to get the information we need to write the grants in order to bring more money into our library. But right now, we have been given a deadline by the county of September 1st to have a plan in place to hire a director, or we will lose over $40,000 in state funding. And in addition, we signed a contract with the county this year to get our state funding for 2026. The county graciously gave us this leeway, and we have not fulfilled our end of the bargain, which is that we should have had a plan in place to hire a director.
And I would really love to take the opportunity thanking for all the hardworking staff at the library. I see Linda in the audience, and I believe you brought us up a report for a lot of the programs, and it's fantastic. And I love seeing successes. I love hearing from my students some of the things they did. The Pokemon event was all the buzz amongst my elementary kids. And it's a worthwhile reminder that, they've done fantastic things so far in lieu of the challenge of doing things a lot on their own. And I just imagine they did this great on their own. How much better could they be once they have a full, proper leadership in place that can help aid them, support them, generate those new ideas, generate those new opportunities? Just being able to get by and do well as they have is not the same as thriving, where you could go forward. And with the school now losing its last library program, this is our only source for our students here in town. So it's really detrimental we keep that in mind for making this in the best situation that we can and bettering it, not just keeping it going.
I just want to remind council that Borough Code states that the borough manager makes the hiring and firing decisions, and that council should stay out of it.
I just would like to add the fact that no matter what we do, what we want to, what we're trying to do, have happen with this motion is to implore that the borough manager consider our residents' needs for a full-time librarian. No matter what we do, we need a full-time library director. Let's get that process going now. It will take time. We've been waiting a year for this. We've been hearing that there was supposed to be a consultant. We're now 4.5 months into the year, and we've got nothing to show for it. Please, I implore you.
Mr. Dillon is working on this. He has spent a lot of time and a lot of money to go and look at things, to get people come in and look at the library, see what needs to get done. So the library has his full attention, but he still has the absolute hiring and firing. So Virginia, roll call.
Yes.
No.
No. No.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-4. 5-3. Okay, public comment. Holly Harmon?
Okay, good evening. And I'm glad that some of the issues with the trucks from Britain is being addressed, but there is a sign at the end of MY Lane. It says no right turns onto Bridge Street. I've seen some. I know they're going to ignore them anyhow, but since they took down all that fencing and there's multiple exits from that yard, trucks are not leaving from MY Lane. They're leaving from the little gated area that's a little more east of my lane. There's like little cut-throughs between the piles of pallets. So they really definitely need to be addressed, that there's one way out of there and it's not down Bridge Street going, into town. So just wanted to mention that little, how the geography there has changed a little bit. So
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Michelle McGowan? Do you want us to bring the mic to you?
Just make sure she doesn't fall.
Hi, I'm Michelle McGowan. I'm on the CAC, and I just came to talk to you guys a little bit about what we did with the Easter egg hunt. We're a small group, but we have accomplished a lot this year. We definitely increased from what we did last year. There are a lot of hours put into stuffing eggs, all by the volunteers. Very elaborate Easter bunny things done by the volunteers. Lots and lots of hours went into that project. We are very proud of what we did. Looking to improve it again, not improve, grow it again next year. There are some areas of improvement that we would like to get into, but we would like to grow it again next year. So we are looking for people to come out and help us. If you can come out and help, that would be great. Also, too, there was some controversy or scuttle about us moving it to Patriots Park. We did so to help bring attention to Summer Seat. We figured 250th birthday, we really wanted to get them involved. And from what we heard, it was a great turnout. There had been a lot of people that actually made it to Summer Seat for the first time. A lot of people told us they didn't even know that area existed. It was fantastic. We did a wristband count, mostly to capture age groups and amount of children that were attending, because that information was not available to us. We estimate that we gave out at least 250 wristbands. We had a lot of children show up towards the end, so some children did not even get wristbands. So there were a lot of kids in attendance, and from what we understand, it was a great event and everybody had fun. So also want to point out that everything was donated. We go around to people and we get donations from various businesses. I don't know all of them off the top of my head right now. So we will get a list and we can have a better sharing of who is involved in donating, but everything comes through donations. So if you did donate, thank you very much. And we look forward to doing this again next year.
Thank you. I have to say it was a great success. You guys did a fantastic job.
May I add to that since you commented? I just want to say, I wanted to say that what a fabulous job you guys did. I brought my grandchildren and I thought it was so well organized, so creative. I can't believe it was only 250 wristbands because to me it seems like you had thousands of children running around. And I really did love the part of having it in conjunction or near Summer Seat. And I thought it was great that Summer Seat participated and they gave the kids toys and they had arts and crafts that were themed, according to the patriotic theme in 250. And I actually was able to take my little granddaughters in to Summer Seat and show them this big historic house and try to make sure they didn't touch anything while they were in there. I think it may have gotten a little bit out of hand after we left, but we didn't touch anything. But anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was fabulous, really.
Linda Meyer?
Her friend.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Linda Meyer. I live on Hamilton Boulevard. I wanted to first just thank the board members who are resigning due to health issues and wish them well as they go forward. I also wanted to mention that we had an Eagle project that was conducted at the library. A Scout member, Jack Donnelly from Troop 230, built a beautiful rolling art cart that is being used for the children's programs and has all sorts of places to store everything so it can roll around and hand things out. There is also a new library program, actually, that was started today called Take Some, Leave Some. So they're using some space in the lobby for non-perishable, unexpired items so people can drop some off or pick some up and take them. We have a new kid librarian who is River, and there's information on River's recommendations in the little report I gave you. River is 9.
Has her hand up. Her real name's Lydia.
I know, well, yes, that is a nickname, but she decided she wanted to use her nickname.
She was the kid librarian last month.
Oh, you were last month's kid librarian. Okay, so we have the first kid librarian right here. I'm going to try to mention one thing that people might not know about that happens at the library. And this is, the library does have a weekly kids series of the week that they post. So they take a book series and they advertise information about it, and kids can go in and take it out. And this one, I think the Cupcake Kids graphic novels or something along those lines. There's information on that also. As far as the replacement for Baker and Taylor, which supplied library materials and went out of business, the contract with Ingram to replace them is moving forward. They're at this process, or at the step where they're evaluating the current library processes against their processes, and they're putting together training and developing new procedures. So it'll be a few more weeks before it can be implemented and before the librarian staff can be trained on how to use it. And we also have, I wanted to say thank you. We are going to have an additional meeting in May for the library board. We had 2 special guests at our meeting in April. They were Dawn Sherlock, who very kindly went through the budget process for us and how that all worked. And also Adam Gilbert Cole came, who is the district consultant, and was able to answer some additional questions and go through information for us. So we actually only made it halfway through our agenda, and we definitely need to talk about the upcoming book sale in early June. So we have to have some more discussions about that and make sure we've got everything covered. As was mentioned before, we are going to give each child who attends the book sale a book for free to take home that they can use as part of the summer reading program. And if anybody has any additional questions, please let me know. The report I gave you has a lot of information about the Pokemon Day, and it also has information about the currently planned summer events for the kids.
Thank you, Linda. Dennis Kenny.
Good evening, Council. It's strange to be on this side, but I'd like to piggyback on CAC. Peggy, thank you so much. It was great to see you. Unfortunately,
You're
Debbie.
a great Easter bunny.
We can't tell anybody. Unfortunately, Debbie, we didn't see you. Anna, Sean as well, but hopefully next year. Couple of things. Council meetings when I was a council person, I took the job, I'd like to say very seriously, with respect as well. These past few months have been extremely difficult to watch, to see what council is turning into. It's unfortunate. It's sad that the public sees this going on. The fact that, well, there's a couple things. There's a couple things going on in my head. Peggy, you had mentioned that Megan was passionate, and you wanted to remove the language that she created a scene. I totally disagree that it should have been removed, but that's my opinion. Facebook. The 4 of you do your podcast, which I wholeheartedly believe in freedom of speech, and I believe it is your honest intention to put out your perspective of what you think is being put out to the public. What I am strongly against and totally disagree with is what the point, or is it the, what do they call it? The short. Marie, I know you don't pay attention to Facebook. I would like to apologize on behalf of your current council people up there next to you who condone the disinformation, the portrayal of you coming off as being out of your mind when you were just being passionate. Everything's taken out of context, the gavel banging, the outbursts. It's very sad and disheartening to see that this is what council meetings are turning into. And I really hope you guys turn this around. You promised to work together, and it's pretty obvious it's not happening. We're talking 4-year terms, 2-year terms. You're not working for the entire community. You're paying attention to single-hearted issues. It's disgusting and shameful that you even let that happen to Marie, that you let Amy Wolfling put those horrible videos out there. So I just hope you can all pull it together. It's important for community. Community works together. And I don't see it happening. So thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Lee Taylor?
Good evening, Lee Taylor, 405 Hamilton. At your February council meeting, our solicitor said, and I quote, "We're not in the same position that Pottstown was. Basically, they were improperly getting administrative search warrants and doing it. We do not do that. It actually is something we haven't done and won't be doing. It was the way in which Pottstown was enforcing it and getting into homes. We're only doing ours with their permission, obviously." I didn't understand those comments that we don't do it like Pottstown, but at last month's meeting, Mike Talia spoke, and I was glad for the question I think Scott Robinson asked him about Pottstown ruling. His clarification was clear and explained the solicitor's remarks from the previous meeting. Question: you're not operating the same way as Pottstown, forcing your way into apartments, correct? Mike: correct. We were actually consulting with Pottstown and telling them not to do that, and you see how that went. If we get a denial of entry, we just document it. If we have what is called a probable cause and there's a reasonable suspicion to get a warrant to make entry, we can pursue it. But nobody's pushing themselves into an apartment unit or any rental for that matter. It is your house and you have constitutional rights. If we suspect there's an issue or if the police notify us that this place is a mess or there are fire hazards, then we dig in deeper. So that means that the rental inspection ordinance is totally 100% optional and voluntary, and all that is needed is for the landlord or tenant to deny entry. This is in direct contradiction to the actual code, which requires an annual inspection of occupied rental residences. Since these annual inspections are the main purpose of the ordinance 1019 and Code 400, this entire ordinance should be repealed immediately. Note, tenants and landlords should exercise their Pennsylvania constitutional rights by simply denying access to their occupied properties. On the other hand, we need to emphasize the use and occupancy code inspections instead and make that more enforceable by putting the burden on real estate and title agents handling property sales in our community. We also need to match names on the UNO certifications with the names on EIT and MMA bills to make sure that UNOs have been done when switching tenants. Lastly, the stairs that Mike said collapsed happened during a UNO inspection, not an annual inspection. And they had passed many inspections before. In fact, the inspector walked up those steps with no problem. Only when his weight pushed away from them, the mooring, while he was descending them, did they come loose. And they were fixed immediately. And the lady whose landlord hadn't fixed the heat was not discovered during an annual rental inspection, but she called it in just like she should have if something's not being handled properly by a landlord. These were not annual inspection discoveries. Put your emphasis on the UNO code inspections and not on this unconstitutional, now voluntary annual inspection program, which should be immediately rescinded. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Council discussion?
I have one thing to say. I'm asking Debbie and Sean moving forward, if you have something to say, if you could kind of consolidate it. If our solicitor or borough manager or president disagrees with you, please try and accept it. But saying the same thing 3 and 4 times just makes the meeting go so much further. I'm basically pleading, just kind of consolidate. That's it.
Thank you, Marie.
I have something.
Anna?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the financial records. They were set to be priority, and I haven't received anything. I was wondering what the status on that is.
I know we've had some rough staff the last month or so, but see what you can get. Make it top priority. All right? Thank you.
Just a quick another thank you. Just a thank you. The Earth Day celebration at Coleman, is it Coleman's Landing? Coleman's Landing was just awe-inspiring, and it's the first, I'm ashamed to say it's the first time I've ever been, and I would just encourage everybody to try to get to it next year. I mean, they planted trees for the borough, They had their regalia on, they had their children, they did their dances. It was just a wonderful, wonderful event.
I also
What
have
else?
something. Also, I had an incident, but beginning of the month, I was driving on Pennsylvania Avenue, and as I looked up, the train was just sitting on the railroad tracks. There was no lights, there was no flares, there was not even anybody out there telling people that there is a train on the tracks. It was just sitting there. I just looked up and I just looked at it and I said, this is catastrophe waiting to happen. Somebody could just plow into that train and there was nothing to, no lights to even reflect that there is a train on the tracks.
Was it an overroad?
It was, there were 3 cars sitting right in the middle of the intersection. No lights, no nothing. I think PennDOT needs to be made aware of it. I mean, I noticed it, and I was just surprised to see those trains out there. They actually pulled back. Instead of going forward, they backed up eventually, but there was nothing. And it was dark, and it was rainy. It was dangerous.
Anyone else?
Yes, I do. I'm following up on what it was requested last month that I do, that I look into the porta potties that we were talking about. Oh, I'm following up on what I was asked to do by Helen last month, to follow up on the porta potties. I know we're saying we don't really like them, but I did find out that for an extra large porta potty, they could be staked very heavily. You can rent them for a seasonal, and the cost would be $219 a month. And I believe Scott said that he would be the first to vote for it if we could get it for $250. So we could do this. I did ask for other ways. They can look into ways to help prevent mischief, that kind of thing. But they said with the heavy stakes, it would be very, very difficult for people for anybody to tip it over. So the tipping wouldn't be an issue. So that would solve that issue. And again, we're coming under what we were even expecting.
If you could send that to Virginia, please.
I'm sorry?
If you could send that information to the borough manager in Virginia.
Okay. And I also would like to thank one of the trees that was planted on Earth Day was donated by Chris Sayre, resident. I'd just like to say thank you. And lastly, I would like to remind everybody that on May 16th, we're going to have our Rock and Roll 250 Festival. It starts at 12 noon, runs to 8 p.m. Rain date is May 17th, and it's featuring a number of local Morrisville musicians that are donating their time and talents. So I really hope that everybody comes out and supports our artists.
Anyone else?
Oh, and one last thing, please, people if you're interested in the library board, please put in your names.
I'm just going to make one last comment, then we'll go on to the mayor's comment. In those videos that Dennis mentioned, there was something about Mr. Dillon, where I believe you quoted him saying that he doesn't know of any municipalities that has any council committees. Sean, I believe you also started saying some things. I looked at all those local municipalities, Yardley, Newtown, Bristol, and they don't have any council committees. So I would appreciate if you guys would look into it a little more before you mislead the public. And Mr. Dillon is well aware of what goes on in other municipalities. Mayor?
Good evening, Morrisville. Yes, CAC, you did a fantastic job this year. So kudos to you all the volunteers, everyone who donated for the event. It was spectacular, and thank you for having me be a part of it. It was so much fun out there with the kids, but you outdid yourselves this year, so I look forward to next year. Congrats. Also, I'd like to extend a sincere thank you to Cello for putting on such a beautiful Earth Day celebration. Truly had a great time and appreciate all the effort that went into making it so special. I also want to thank the 3 councilwomen who joined Peggy, Anna, and Debbie in the celebration. Your presence helped make the event even more meaningful. With Earth Day taking place tomorrow, it serves as a great reminder for the importance of caring for our environment and working together as a community to keep Morrisville clean, green, and thriving for future generations. On another note, I want to thank Peggy and Sean for a very productive and meaningful conversation. It was simply three people coming together, trying to bridge a gap for our elected officials. While we may not see eye to eye on everything, we share a common goal, seeing Morrisville succeed. And that's something we can absolutely accomplish together. So please, council, let's do it together. Have a great evening, Morrisville.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Oh, sure. Oh, no, that's okay.
Came too late to sign in.
Oh, you should have said something earlier.
I didn't know when was appropriate.
Oh.
My name is Christine Jansen, and I moved in to West Palmer Street back in 1987, so this town made me grow old.
It's the water.
Coming up the steps, I had to spend 5 minutes trying to stop breathing hard.
You know, we have an elevator in case you didn't know that.
Oh, thank you. I want to talk about those huge, ugly garbage cans. I live alone. I've been putting out like one little bag on Mondays and my little recycle thing on Thursdays, and I just can't do it with these big ones. So when they came in and I started reading the brochure that was tucked into it, it said, call this number if you have questions. Well, I called it, the 610 number. They took me to apparently the corporate headquarters, and they said that, okay, we will talk to the people who actually do this, meaning the, you know, the drivers or whatever, and we'll get back to you. Well, that was the day after they delivered the things, because I wanted to know if there was a smaller option. And of course, I never heard anything. And I would just like to know if there is a possibility for the oldsters, the ones who are sick, the ones who are small, infirm, who have to go, you know, down steps. Is there a smaller thing, or can we put our regular things out? Or, you know, how can you do something for the oldsters who can't push that damn thing down the driveway?
So I know you came to the meeting late. We had someone from Republic here first thing, and he talked about all the garbage.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just couldn't get there earlier. I figured when they left that they were probably. Anyway, are they having smaller options?
So there, if you want to leave, that's Virginia sitting over there. If you want to leave your name and your address and maybe your phone number with her, the Republic is looking at like individuals who have issues. So they'll come and look at your house, and then they'll figure out what they can do for you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Do I go now or when you're done?
Okay, motion to adjourn.